Guys, it is absolutely amazing to think about all the free, valuable information you're going to get out of this tiny little device that fits in the palm of your hands when you purchase this device. There's no subscription needed. All you got to do is get this device, pair it to your phone or your tablet. It doesn't matter if it's an Android or an iPhone. Once it's paired, you're going to insert this dongle into your OBDII port in your car, and it's going to give you all the information you need to do your car repair on your own. Or with that information, you can take your vehicle to a mechanic and make sure they don't rip you off. Of course, the first step is to download the app onto your phone. You can do a search for Advancer, or you can just scan the QR code. That should take us straight to the app. And just press install. All right, I've got the Advancer app downloaded onto the phone. I'm just going to click on that. Agree to the terms. Allow all of that craziness while using app only. And here you're going to create your account. Just email and password. All right, when you got your account all set up, this is your home screen. You're going to press on this activate paired device. It's going to take you to this QR screen, and you're going to turn your camera on by hitting this blue button, or you can input it manually by using this link down here. But we're going to use the scan QR code, and you're going to scan the back of the device. Just like this. And hit confirm. Alright, the next step is to figure out where your OBDII port is in your car, and then we're going to take the dongle, put it into the port. Now there's no power in here, so we got to turn the car on. It's going to power this unit, and then we're going to pair this to the phone using Bluetooth. Alright, so this is what an OBDII port looks like. This is located on my driver's side, right underneath my driver cluster. So my brake and my gas pedal are right down there, and the cluster is right up here. Don't worry about installing the dongle incorrectly. It can only go into one direction. It's going to look like this. All right, that's set to go. Now all we got to do is turn the car on to give this power and pair it to your device. Now if something is not on correctly on your device, like it needs you to turn on Bluetooth or location setting, it'll let you know. All right, let's start up the car. And let's start pairing. And all we're going to do is let it go. Alright, looks like everything is set. I'm going to press confirm. And as we can see here, there is an error on my car and I need to do the scanning. Now before going any further, I just want to show you the basic layout of the things you can do in here. Welcome back to the screen. Alright, before showing you guys the trouble code that my car has, I just want to walk you around the user interface of this application because I think it's very simple, very clean, very easy to use. Now I have an older vehicle. It's a 1998 Toyota Corolla, so not all of the features are going to work, but the most important ones do. So hopefully when you plug your dongle in, the picture of your car will be right here. You've got these 4 shortcuts here. These are customizable. You can change them out with the other scans that are on the applications page that we're going to look at. Here you have your estimated fuel consumption, which not a lot of people keep track of. But if you do keep track of, if you notice that there is a rise or decline of your fuel consumption and your driving habits haven't changed, that could be a condition where you might have a vacuum leak where your computer is having to adjust for either lean or rich fuel conditions. And down here, this will keep track of your total mileage that you drive. Now, my recommendation is not to keep this plugged into your car all the time. You get the information that you need and then you unplug it. All right, I've backed up my phone just enough so you can see that applications icon right here. So we're going to come here, click that, get it to go to the next page, and we can see all of the different scans that we can do here. So if you want to replace one of those 4 in the front, you just click on this edit button right here, and you can choose which ones you want to edit. Let's have a closer look in here. So really, most of us are just going to want to do the OBDII full function scan. And that's going to give you your trouble code. Now, once you get that, it's going to give you a brief description of what's going wrong, but most of us are not going to understand that gibberish. But that's when we're going to research it on the internet, watch some videos, see if we can handle the repair. And again, it might be out of our ability. We might not have the tools or the time to do it. That's when you take it to the mechanic. And because you've watched those videos, you get a good idea for what the mechanic might be trying to tell you. Now, if they tell you something different, try to recommend different things, they might be trying to rip you off. But that's why it's important to get the code first and do your own research. Now, if you're in a state like me that has a smog check, this scan is very useful. You're going to be able to run a scan and see if your vehicle is going to be able to pass an inspection without wasting your time. So we're going to have a look at that. Now, for people that live in extreme weather conditions like extreme heat or cold, this battery check is extremely useful. So what it's going to give you is your voltage before you start, when it's just resting. Then it's going to give you the voltage after you started, so it should drop. And then it's going to give you your voltage after it started, which should be higher than the voltage that you had before you started. So this is going to tell you if your battery's good or if your alternator might not be charging your battery while your car is on. So that's an important one. Everybody should use that. Now, if you want to get just a little bit more techie, a little bit more geeky, and just put a little bit more effort into learning a little bit more about cars, you can use this live data right here, because this right here can give you a lot of insight as to what's going on with your car. For example, it can give you what your current throttle position is. It's going to give you your current RPMs. It'll give you your battery voltage as well. You can also check different sensors in your car. For example, your O2 sensors, you can check the voltages on those. Those are very important to make sure that your emissions is running properly. Also, if you want to get into short-term and long-term fuel readings, this will tell you that. If you want to get just a little bit more geeky, that is the way to go. And we're going to have a quick look at that. All right, there's confirmation that there is an error code in there. Check engine light here. We're going to click on this check now and let it run its check. All right, here we go. Warning, one fault code found. Let's hit this fault detail. And there is my error. So we got DTC code P0420, and there is the description of what it is. If we click on this, it'll give us all of this gibberish, but the thing we want to focus on is that code right there, because that's what we can take to the internet and research. Now, I just want to point one other thing out on this screen. If you look right down here, you can clear out all of the DTC codes. So when you do that, that'll clear out your engine code. Hey, let's see what happens when we click this clear all DTC codes. Have to confirm that. All right, and of course right up here, that got rid of the check engine light. Of course mine's gonna come back on. Maybe if you're lucky, it'll go away, but that's how you clear up the check engine light. All right, let's have a look at the smog check here. All right, we're running the smog check now. All right, so here are the results of the smog check. We can see that the MIL light right here, which is the malfunction indicator lamp, is on, which matches because the check engine light is on. And of course, it does show here that the trouble code that we threw is there, so that's perfect. And all of my sensors are working properly. These gray ones here are just sensors that I don't have, so this is working properly. Now, the only thing we gotta do is find out a way to get this lamp to stay off and have all of these sensors turn back on. So the smog check is working perfectly. All right, let's have a look at the battery check icon and see how that works. Okay, start this testing. All right, what do we got here? Voltage before start, perfect, and then we can see it go up after start. All right, so it dropped when we started the car, but this is what we want to see. That's what we want to see. All right, let's have a look at the live data just to show you an example for what that looks like here. Alright, here is what the live data is telling me. My idle speed is at 839 RPM. That's about right. Coolant temperature 96 degrees. We got that battery voltage 14.03. That's pretty good. Here's some other information about my open throttle positioning, 13.3%. It's never going to be at 0. That's pretty standard. And then you have your kPa intake pressure. A little bit more technical, you have to kind of research that to figure out what that's going to be, but that's your live data. You also have this option down here to check more sensors, and kind of like what I was mentioning, you can check your short and long-term fuel to see if it's between a certain parameter, and depending on what those readings are, again, I'm not a mechanic, I have to go back and check those readings. You can kind of see what that's like. Let's have a look at what that's going to look like though. It's going to take a little bit while. So the long-term trim is always going to be higher, and then normally I think it's like either plus or minus 5% is what you want to see it go up and down between. So this is looking pretty good. Now the other thing you can check is the status of your let's see if we can back out of here. The status of your I'm going to uncheck these, your O2 sensors, the voltage. So you got your, this is only a 4-cylinder, so there's only bank 1. We can do these guys right here, and is that bank sensor 1 and sensor 2. And then you can also pick short-term fuel trim and see how that interacts. Now if there's 0 voltage coming out of both of these, that's a bad sign. But again, you'd have to check the data to see where your before catalytic converter reading should be and after. So before will be sensor 1, after the cat will be 2, and then again you have to check to see what the range of your short-term fuel should be, and that can give you an idea, for example, if you have something like a vacuum leak. But yeah, this is working out pretty good.